the big one. Okay, I know the temptation is to scroll straight ahead. It's an all expenses paid trip to Lambeau Field that you could win, and I know that you're anxious to get there and see your name in lights. But before you do, just bear with me, just give me a couple minutes, 2 minutes, just to discuss two things. Number one, how were the draws done? And number two, how did we get here in the first place? Because giving away a £2,000 trip, and it has cost us £2,000, is a very big deal. So number one, how were the draws done? Look, I announced this draw in February of this year. And I said that if you got on in February, every month that you were on Patreon would be one entry into the draw, and I've honoured that. So what happened was that if you were in from February, well then what I did was I got the names from February. So if you're on the gold tier, the Lambeau tier, or the t-shirt tier, well then I got your names and I did a redraw. So you can see those on YouTube now. So look, I've got a couple of questions asking, is it the same probability? I mean, was I in these draws? Yes, you were in the draws. So if you look at the probability, right, if you had 7 entries, so say you've been in since February till August, I could have drawn everything all together and done a one winner takes all, goes home. Okay, you would have had 7 entries in the draw. Out of 700 people is a 1 in 100 chance, let's say. So whether that's the case, or I went and redrawed you so you were that one person in the list of 100, that's a 1 in 100 chance. But even better than that, what I did is I drew 10 names out. So it seems like a long build up and it seems like a draw to get into the draw, but it's not really. It's just a way of whittling down the names, because I didn't want to get 700 names or so, or whatever amount it is, and lump it all into the wheel of names, because you wouldn't be able to read your name on there anyway. So again, if you're on the gold tier, or you were on the t-shirt tier, or you were, which is now retired, and you were on the Lambeau tier, I got your names and I drew 10 people out of all of those, just so that we could have a small enough list of people at the very end just to draw it again and see who comes out top. So the probability, believe me, is the same. And second off, how do we get here? I think this is pretty extraordinary. I don't know any other fan group, and let alone fan group, I don't know any other business that is doing this. Someone of our size, you look at any of the big businesses, they're giving away €10 vouchers or €20 vouchers, or retweet and give us a story and we'll give you a mug. This is a £2,000 trip. And it's been very special because it's the 10-year anniversary of UK Packers. I've been doing this a very long time now. It's seen me through a marriage, it's seen me through buying a house and having kids, and my third kid is imminently on the way. So it's a really big deal, and it meant a lot for me that on the 10-year anniversary we could give something really, really big. But I don't want to stop there. But look, we had 3 goals. One was to bring the community together and to have meetups. We've done that pretty much every year, apart from when COVID put us off track. Number 2 was to welcome the Packers to London. It took a little bit longer than we expected, but we managed to do that. And then the third one is to bring people to Lambeau Field. And in fact, we've been probably doing that from the very beginning. We hooked up with travel agents and made that thing possible through group booking and everything else to get you a really good discounted rate. This is just enhancing that. This means that it allows us to be able to say that we're such a great community that we're able to bring somebody over to Lambeau Field, all expenses paid. And you can see from the gold tier draws that I do every single month, the more people that join them, the bigger the prizes are and more expensive that they are, because it's about whatever money comes in gets spent on prizes, and now on this Lambeau trip as well, which took a couple of months to be able to build up and afford. So what I would say is, if you're on the Lambeau tier and you really like what we do here, if you stay on that Lambeau tier, well then I'm just going to roll this forward. So you will have 12 entries. So I'm going to redraw every single month next year. And again, if we get a lot of entries and people are interested, and the interest is high, well what I'll do is I will double it. I'll make that, okay, well we've enough for one person, let's try to get that second person over, and then we can get 2 people over to Lambeau Field, and so on and so forth. So look, I think this is a pretty special draw. I think we have an opportunity to do something really special as well in the future if we can keep this thing going. But without further ado, I'm going to do 2 things. Number 1 is I'm going to draw the August draw to get those 10 names to go through to the final one, and then I'm going to draw the final draw. So when you see your name at the very end, you have won the trip to Lambeau Field, and the next step will be, I'm going to be on to you, I'm going to get your name and I'm going to get your date of birth, forward that on to our tour operator, Touchdown Trips, and you will have your place booked on the tour when you can stop screaming, getting so excited. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody who was a Patreon this whole time. It means an awful lot. You've effectively made and facilitated a way for you to go over to Lambeau Field, all expenses paid. And again, that truly is life-changing. But enough of the soft stuff from me. I'm Irish, I don't have emotions, of course. So let's get on to the August draw, on to the final draw, and to the best of luck to everybody who entered. Okay, right, here we go, the August draw. I'm going to draw 10 names from the August list. I'm going to pop you onto the other list, so that's whittled down in names, and then I'm going to draw the big winner. So it's going to be done in 2 parts. I'm going to shuffle it 5 times as always. And the best of luck to everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll shuffle it in between as well, just for good measure. David Small, you have a golden ticket. What does that mean? It means you're into the main draw. Next up. Stephen Barnett, well done Steve. You were in the final draw as well. Now as I said before, final draw, it's all basically the same. It just prevents the wheel being absolutely overwhelmed and just picking one person. Jeremy Doak, well done Jeremy, you're in the final, that's 3. So after I draw this, I'll go into the results page and show you the 10 names that are going to come out, and then I will update them on the page, come back and do the final draw. Tom Webster, well done Tom, you are into the final. Sean White, well done, Sonny. You are into the final one as well. Michael Hepplewhite, well done, Michael. Paul O'Dwyer, well done, Paul. 3 more to go. Callum Kerrison, well done, Callum. 2 more to go. Chris Rivette, well done, Chris. For the final name, and then I'll flip onto the list to see who's going through to draw that one name. One and done. Ben Lark, well done. Right, we have our 10 names to go onto the list. So it's David Small, Stephen Barnett, Jeremy Doak, Tom Webster, Sean White, Michael Hepplewhite, Paul O'Dwyer, Callum Kerrison, Chris Rivette, and Ben Lark. Okay, I'm going to update that page on the website now, and then I'm going to do the final draw. Stay tuned. Okay, this is it. This is really nerve-wracking, actually, because it's been building up to this since February. So look, I'm just going to show you the page. This is the 1919 RAS page. So next month in September, it's going to go back to normal, if you will. And if you're in the gold tier, your name is going to be popped in here. So look, these are the 70 names that I drew from each individual redraw. So, you know, the first 10 is February, March, April, May, and so on. So let's go into Wheel of Names. And I'm going to paste you in there. There's the 70 names. They're legible now. And I'm going to randomize it 5 times. And the person who comes first wins an all expenses paid trip to Lambeau Field. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is it. So the best of luck, everybody. And the winner is... Callum Kerrison. Callum Kerrison, you have won an all expenses paid trip to Lambeau Field. I will be in contact when you settle down, and I'll get your details and get your bags packed. You're going to Green Bay to see the Badgers take on the Buckeyes. The Packers take on the Vikings in Lambeau Field. All expenses paid, as in transfers are sorted, hotel is sorted, which is fantastic news. You are our first winner. And I'm hoping next year we're going to have another winner. So look, stick around if you want to win. But again, congratulations to Callum Kerrison for winning the grand prize.